Good morning. Welcome to Common Sense with Tom Schmitz. I am Tom Schmitz, and I'm glad you're here. Today, my guests are Melissa Townsend, a Cultural Arts Manager for the City of Ocala, and Megan Cheney-Gumpert, a mixed media sculptor. I had to get that right because we did have artists, but we changed it to sculptor. We'll be speaking to them in just a few moments, but just some housekeeping real quick. Yesterday, I had Michelle Stone on the original show, the pilot episode of Common Sense with Tom Schmitz, and it went off without a hitch. And then someone took it upon themselves to report that program as being of offensive content. I don't know who that was, but thank you for causing quite a problem for us yesterday for about 4.5 hours. We got it fixed with Google, though, so in the end, you didn't win, I did. But that's how things usually work out when it's my show. But thanks for your concern about offensive content. It wasn't offensive, and most people disagreed. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and give you some new stuff. I got a text number. You can actually text live in real time to give some questions that you may want to ask to the guest. Our text number is 352-389-1222. You can text in real time to talk with our guests through text. Once again, that text line is 352-389-1222. And with that, now I'll bring in our guest, Melissa Townsend. She's the Cultural Arts Manager for the City of Ocala. Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning. Thank you for asking us to be here.
And Megan Cheney-Gumpert. She is a mixed media sculptor, which I confess I have no clue what that means.
Well, good morning. Yes, I'm an artist. I work with ceramics and glass and make unique, one-of-a-kind sculptures.
Wonderful. Thanks, both of you, for coming in today. I think it's very important that we talk about the art and the cultural effect it has on our city and our county, Ocala, Marion County. And to do that, let's talk about MAX right away. Melissa, explain what MAX is to everyone.
Okay, MAX stands for the Magnolia Art Exchange, and it is, or will be, our first art incubator here in Ocala. Very much like the power plant is a business incubator, MAX will be an incubator for visual artists who are pursuing their professional careers.
Speaking of the business incubator, that's where we're coming out of, and I must tell you that all the views expressed on this show during this time are those of me, Tom Schmitz, and our guest, that in no way reflect the views or the opinions of the City of Ocala, the business incubator, the power plant business incubator, or the Marion County. So more housekeeping I had to get out of the way. So now we're here in the business incubator as a startup network, Common Sense Network LLC, and we get classes and we have instruction. We have experts in the field of business planning, accounting that can help us assist in growing our business and making it flourish. Is that pretty much the same thing MAX will offer to artists?
It is. It's very similar. Not only will mentoring opportunities be offered, art as business workshops, tools provided and education on how to market your work. There will be shared equipment, working spaces for the artists to share, and also individual studio spaces. And we'll create a collaborative, open dialogue within the space so the artists can have great communications, feed off of each other, be inspired. The visual arts can often be a very solitary field, and the MAX will bring everybody together. And some of the greatest art movements in history have happened when artists have come together in various schools or salons to work and collaborate. And so we are going to develop that environment at the Magnolia Art Exchange.
Now, Megan, as an artist, as a working artist who I understand have sold all over the country,
Yes.
what is the advantage to the artist to have a place like MAX to help with? I mean, I know what the incubator here helps me business-wise. What is it for an artist to have a place like MAX?
Very similar to how it would work, where it would function for a business person. A lot of times artists need that initial support, whether you're an emerging artist, mid-career, or established. I've been fortunate enough to travel across the country and participate in similar residency programs or incubator programs, like we're calling it here in Ocala. And it provides you with not only the physical space to work in, maybe you're provided with a studio, so that you don't have to clean up and interrupt your creative process. A lot of artists, if you have to work on your dining room table, you might have to clean up, and then if you have to pull it back out again, you're less likely to continue that project or continue those pursuits. So logistically, just having the space to be able to go somewhere and be creative is huge. And then, like Melissa spoke to, having the community of other artists around you. You have other people that maybe they're working in a completely different media or a completely different style from yourself, but you can sort of feed off of each other creatively, or ideas, or just get critique and feedback on your work. Like, hey, I don't really think that this piece of this sculpture is working, maybe you should consider this, or something new can come out of it completely. Maybe you start collaborating with other artists and making work together. And those types of relationships can't really form when you're working at home alone on your dining room table. You really need the support.
So, as a working artist, then, what you're telling me is it's very important, because while I see a lot of people passing in the hallways here, because we're so diverse in what we do, there's a young man in here that's he's building apps. There's a young man in here that's building urban clothing line. There's a 3D printing process here. There's a startup webcasting show network here. A lot of them, while we're all businesses, we're not really, there are times we could help each other, but I haven't noticed that a lot of meshing. Whereas in art, I would think there's a lot of chance where artists, because it's all, while we're all business owners, our businesses are very different. Art, even though the genre is different, what you're doing, the medium that what you're doing is different. The thought process of creativity is the exact same.
Yes, very similar, and there is a lot of that cross-pollination, intermingling of ideas, and not only sharing of ideas, but you might be working with an artist who's a little bit further along in their career, and so that's where the business component can come in for younger artists or for people that are just establishing themselves. They might get ideas on how to start the website for their business, or they might get ideas of marketing from an artist who's a little bit older and a little more established. So it becomes also, in a lot of ways, a mentoring relationship and not just a peer type situation.
A lot of people, and I know that we know this in the back of our mind, but a lot of people think, oh, they're an artist. They do it because they love doing art. And that is true. Why it is your calling because you love it. But when you're a working artist and you want to make that a career, there is a business and money element involved.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. You have to be able to learn how to sell your work and market your work. Run a website, answer PR. I mean, I joke with people about how I am the janitor and the CEO of my company. You have to be able to do it all.
We're speaking with Melissa Townsend, the Cultural Arts Manager for the City of Ocala, and with Megan Cheney-Gumpert. She is a mixed media sculptor here in town. Melissa, let's talk about Max and where we are right now with Max. We're in the fundraising stage still with Max. Where is that at, and how can people, if they want to, find out information to help with Max?
Sure. This has been a project that was thoroughly researched. Megan actually served on the steering committee, and we went around and visited quite a few other similar facilities around the state. We also spoke to folks outside of the state, and Max has a great business plan. So we have a thoroughly laid out approach to the project, and at this time we're in the fundraising phase. Max is a 501c3. We're a not-for-profit, so if someone wants to participate, it's a great tax deduction. And some folks might be out there getting ready to kind of button up things for the end of the year, so please think about us if you're looking to do something for the community. We need to raise, per our agreement with the city, $126,000. It's about a $300,000 project. Max's goal is closer to 150, just because we want a little bit of a contingency fund. But once they reach 126,000, the city of Ocala is going to match that money with improvements to Ocala Union Station. It does need a little bit of a facelift in the interior, everything from painting to improved lighting so that the artist can work. And then Max is responsible for things that are specific to the artist, equipment that the artist will utilize, and computer systems and various things that are part of their business operations.
So I can see people now that aren't art savvy and don't see a need for art as a cultural need in our area, saying, why should the city foot the bill for this kind of place? Because I'm sure some people they're all caught up in not my tax dollars. My tax dollars should go to build roads, pay cops, pay the fire department, period, the end. Why should I help an artist? They should help themselves. Why is it important that we do something like this as taxpayers, that some of our money goes towards this?
Well, I think there's multiple reasons. One of the big reasons is that this is a national landmark, the building. It's beautiful.
It really is. The train station's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's 100 years old. It is no longer a transportation hub. Its original purpose is gone. It's not needed for that. Amtrak does not stop here with the train service, and
now it's only claimed to fame as Dee Dee's Doghouse or whatever
we
it's
have
called.
Dee Dee's Doghouse,
Yeah.
yes, and then or Dee Dee's Diner, and then at the southern end of the complex, the local buses do still come, and there's a platform there. So there's a transit stops where everybody gets off and switches buses. But Amtrak no longer comes, and Greyhound has left and is out at 326 and I-75. So we have these beautiful buildings that aren't being utilized. And so Max will repurpose this space and keep it active and provide something for the community. Not only will the artists be working there, but it will be open to the public, and folks can come in and they can see the creative process, which is quite different than going to a museum or walking into a gallery and just seeing art on the walls. They'll have the opportunity to actually interact with the artists and see how they're creating their work. And in addition to that, there will be a limited amount of availability for the spaces to be rented for different functions. So there will be the possibility of corporate retreats, employee socials, small celebrations. So the space will be open to the public, and then that of course benefits the artists because folks come in to experience the space and see their work. The building is located on the northwest side of Tuscaloosa Park, right next to the Art Park, which is a brand new park. If you haven't been there, you need to go.
It really is an amazing park.
And so we're bookending all the cultural amenities that we have on the northeast side of the park, and which have all played a very significant role in taking back Tuscaloosa and re-energizing Tuscaloosa. And so we're completing that campus. So we're really maximizing and capitalizing on existing investments. I think this is a smart move for this project. And Max will bring, in their first year of operations, over 4,000 people into that building and to that complex to partake in various activities, which is going to drive foot traffic to the North Magnolia or Midtown District, which we are working on revitalizing. This is a catalytic project that will generate a lot of activity. And what we know statistically from seeing these other projects in other communities is once you do something like this and you create this hub of creative folks that are working together and they're bringing the public in, it snowballs and the momentum expands out. And these artists attract more restaurants, other support businesses. This is a program where folks will graduate from it. They're going to go out into the community and look for spaces to rent for their own studios. So it will re-energize this whole district.
So kind of like the old adage from the movie Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come.
They will come, yes.
And a lot of people are saying, that's a thought process now that people don't understand, is now you have to have something to provide to bring people. People don't show up and say, hey, can you do this for me?
Right.
They show up because you've already laid the infrastructure out there, and then they come up. Now, my question is, by the way, you made a great point about being able to, for the public to go see the creative process, because everybody knows that I'm a confessed Disney fanatic. Everybody knows this. And one of my favorite things to do at Disney is to go in the Art Institute area in the backdrop and watch the
what's happening.
creative as they're drawing, and that to me is just as exciting
It's fascinating.
as going and getting a lithograph that was used in Pinocchio in the 1940s to me, because I get to see what the Imagineers are coming up with in their mind. I think that'll be a great thing to do and I keep hitting these glasses. I think that'd be a great thing to do to allow the public to see the creative side of it. Let me ask you this, Megan: is there any plans when Max is up and running full to include a youth element in it, to have classes or maybe instructions, or maybe to start the youth of Marion County and Ocala into a life of art maybe?
Well, I believe what we had spoken to when we were working on the initial project is we were gearing this more toward an older age group, young adults possibly. We felt like there was the need for youth classes was already possibly being met by the Appleton or some other organizations here in Ocala. So we were trying to fill a need that we felt existed for people who might be graduating from CF or who have maybe retired to the area and who want to pursue art full time. That's not to say that I'm a mother of two, and it's not to say that there won't be a component that will be important for children. Like, I'm looking forward to bringing my kids and having them see and experience the art and see what it's like to be a working artist. And Max will be available for workshops. So I imagine if an artist wanted to come in and cater a specific workshop to an age group, that could absolutely be considered.
Yeah, and that is one of the ways that artists can participate in Max. There's 3 different possibilities, but one of the routes is for art educators, and that there are spaces within Max that they can utilize for classrooms. And it's up to those artists to determine what they want to offer and who they want to offer the classes to, whether that be youth or college students or a mix of
50-year-old
adults.
guys that can barely paint by numbers.
Yes.
The other ways that artists can participate in Max will be the Artist in Residency program, where they have a dedicated private studio space that's theirs. And there are plans for 6 of those studio spaces upon opening. And then there will be approximately 35 other affiliate artist memberships where folks can utilize Max as the gym for creating art. And they'll have access to the space 24/7 and can use all the common areas and shared equipment to pursue their profession. And then, of course, they would come in and participate in artist business workshops and exhibitions and other opportunities as well.
Megan, that brings up a very good point, because behind us is a mural in the works.
Yes.
Rebecca Harvick is doing this mural in the works. Rebecca, though, is a mother of small children, so she works at her availability with life being the way it is. That's why it's important to have a 24/7 opportunity, because life has a way of getting in and
Right.
stopping you from doing projects at times.
And traditionally, a lot of artists aren't creative or don't find that their best working hours are 9 to 5. You know, they might work later in the evenings, even if they don't, or they have a 9 to 5 job and they're working on building their portfolio and building their career as an artist, so they're coming in at night. So we feel 24-hour access was
very important.
was very important. And all the facilities that we researched across the country when we were laying out the business plan for Max, they all followed a similar program.
Now, Max falls under Rec and Parks, am I correct with that?
Well, Max, I do in my role as Community Cultural Arts Manager. I'm an employee of the City of Ocala, and I work within the Recreation Parks Department. The Magnolia Art Exchange is its own 501c3, and they're a registered not-for-profit in the state of Florida, and they have a partnership or an agreement with the City of Ocala to reserve this space that both sides want to create an art incubator. They want to establish an art incubator. So that's where we're at right now. But Max is its own entity that will basically manage this project within the Ocala Union Station facility.
We have a text, actually. Thank you, Lucy, for a text. Lucy wants to know, is there already places being slotted for people to apply, or is that still too far out?
It's too far out. We would encourage anyone who's interested to go to our website. It's www.maxocala.org and sign up the contact form to receive updates. And not only would you receive updates on the project, but there are various events that Max is hosting even now. Although it's not being utilized, the space is not ready to be an art incubator, Max is hosting events, one of which is happening today. We have an artist, an international artist who's in town, Alex Brewer, also known as Hens. He's painting a mural on the Seminole Feed Building, and he's providing an artist talk today at the Magnolia Art Exchange to about 50 people, and some of which are students from CF, and other folks are project partners and artists who are have been supporting Max and are engaged and are on our mailing list. And all those folks had the opportunity to register in advance for the artist talk. And so he'll be speaking about his creative process, sharing his experiences installing murals across the world, and then talking about why he chose to partner with all of the project partners here in Ocala to bring this mural here. And he had the choice to go, he could have gone anywhere to do his next project, but he did select Ocala, and he's very interested in Tuscola Park and all the things that have been created there. So he'll be speaking to that this afternoon. So I would say definitely go to the website, sign up on the contact form.
We talk about the mural behind here that Rebecca Harvick's doing for us here at the studio. There's a mural that was recently put on the S-curve. There's a mural on the water tank next to the business incubator here, the power plant business incubator here. There's a mural going in the back of the Seminole Feed. Do we just have the right canvases around our city, or are murals hot right now, Megan?
I feel in a lot of cities, murals have always been a key component to sort of bring in the arts and to add that sort of cultural element to maybe the architecture or the buildings that are already there. I'm very excited to see that Ocala is on board with getting so many murals. I feel like it can help sort of stimulate this dialogue and stimulate a conversation about art. And it's fantastic that so many have gone in such a short period of time.
If you come to the water tank here right next to the power plant business incubator, you can literally, and I know this because I did this, I spent an hour and 10 minutes just slowly walking around because of everything that is on that canvas. And we call it a canvas, it's a water tank, but it is a canvas.
It is a canvas,
The amazing things and the detail that go, because I would think a lot of our, some of our older audience thinks of murals and they think of graffiti. But there's so much that goes into the murals. The mural, the Field Downtown mural that's on the S-curve, it captures the entire downtown area so well. And which is why we had the cornerstone of the mural going in here. You can't see it on camera yet. When it gets finished, you will be able to, is the Marion Theater, which I think is one of the cornerstones of downtown.
Definitely.
And that's why I thought it was very important that it goes into this mural. And the amazing thing is that we as a community, as a whole, are so in tune with putting murals wherever there's availability to do them. And some of them privately done, some of them funded through taxpayer dollars, but still it adds beauty to the city. Buddy Martin and I, who I do a radio show with, Buddy and I were coming back from Atlanta from the massacre on Peachtree, the Alabama-Florida game. And we were driving through Cordele, Georgia, and Cordele, Georgia has on its interstate right there, Cordele, Georgia, the gateway to the south, and it has great artwork and everything and great fauna and everything. And you just notice this little bitty city, and I'm from Georgia, I promise you that Cordele, Georgia is an exit on I-75. That's it. It's an exit on I-75. But they're the gateway to South Georgia, according to them, and you remember that. I think you remember Field Downtown because of things like the S-curve. So is it safe to say, ladies, that art is alive and well in Marion County and Ocala?
Yes, I think we're experiencing a bit of a renaissance within our own community. A lot of the art groups have come together. We have a lot of momentum. It's an active There's creation happening out in the public eye. Artists are coming together. It's very exciting. There's an energized feeling. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Melissa Townsend, she is the cultural arts, I never get it right. She's the
It's a
cultural arts
mouthful.
manager for the city of Ocala. Megan Cheney-Gumpert, she is a mixed media sculptor. They have been with us this morning talking about Max and art in general in our community. And common sense, folks, says that we need this kind of culture in our community because you need good schools, you need good public safety, you need good infrastructure, and you need good cultural places to go, museums, art places, good theaters, to make sure that you bring the right kind of people into your community to live and prosper. I want to thank both of our guests, Melissa
Thank you.
and
Thank you for
Megan,
having
for being
us.
here. Thanks for being here. I'd also like to thank you for watching. For my executive producer, who you see in the background, who you can't see in the background, Brian Morgan, and for Melissa Townsend and Megan Cheney-Gumpert, I got it right. This has been Common Sense with Tom Schmitz. Have a great morning, everyone.